Today, we're unraveling the mysteries of the arcane and weaving together powerful spell combinations that will have your DM scratching their head wondering just how useless the challenge rating system actually is. So pull up DNDbeyond and get ready to change your spellbook as I take you through 5 super powerful spell combinations for D&D 5th edition. Starting off, we have a combo called Spiritual Blender, which combines the spell Spirit Shroud with Spiritual Weapon. Spirit Shroud calls forth the spirits of the dead to empower your attacks to deal an extra d8 of damage whenever you hit. That damage is added to any attack within 10 feet of you. Spiritual Weapon is a player favorite spell which conjures a spectral weapon that you can control and cast as a bonus action. It uses your spellcasting ability modifier to attack and deals a d8 of force damage anytime it hits. What I really like about this spell combo is that you can use it as early as 5th level, making it extremely accessible to all players. The combo uses the bonus damage that you get from Spirit Shroud to empower your spiritual weapon attacks as well as your own melee attacks. The difficulty with this combo is that you and your weapon need to be within 10 feet of each other to really get the most out of the extra damage you get from Spirit Shroud. But as long as you can maintain that slight restriction, you can deal a lot of extra damage with these two spells combined. Now, the astute of you might be saying, wait a minute, Spirit Shroud specifically states when you make an attack, and you'd be right. But Spiritual Weapon specifically states that you make a spell attack. And I'm no English teacher, but that sounds like you're gonna make the attack, not the Spiritual Weapon. So because of that, the bonus damage from Spirit Shroud definitely works with Spiritual Weapon, as long as you're within 10 feet of the weapon. So you just turn on Spirit Shroud, pop up a Spiritual Weapon, and then turn into a Spiritual Blender across the battlefield to deal a bunch of extra damage. So if you need a combo that'll tear up a battlefield, Spiritual Blender has you covered. Moving on to our second spell combination for today's video, we have one straight from the comment section from our viewer Hathis. Hathis? I hope I pronounced that right. I've taken to calling this combo Putrid Paralyzation, which combines these spells Ray of Sickness with Summon Undead. Ray of Sickness is an incredibly underrated spell which I've recently covered in my must-have necromancy spells video, which funnily enough is where Hathis mentioned this combo. You make a ranged spell attack against a creature you can see and deal 2d8 poison damage on a hit, and poison the creature if they fail a con save. Summon Undead, on the other hand, does exactly what it sounds like. It summons undead. The undead you summon can be one of 3 different forms, but for this combo, we want to use the Putrid form. The reason for this is because if the Putrid Undead hits a poisoned target with its Rod and Claw attack, then it will have a chance to paralyze that target. And being paralyzed is arguably the worst condition to have in all of 5th edition, because any attack within 5 feet of a paralyzed target is an auto-critical hit. The really nice thing about this combo too is that the Putrid Undead has poison built right into its kit, so you really don't even necessarily need to use Ray of Sickness. The reason I made it a combo is because it effectively doubles the chance the creature is going to be poisoned the next time that your undead makes an attack, meaning it increases the likelihood of paralyzation. Now, this combo does have a huge weakness in that it requires multiple Constitution saving throws for the paralyzation effect, which is less than ideal, especially considering that you could just use Hold Person and effectively get the same effect. However, Hold Person only works against humanoid creatures, whereas this combo works against anything that can become poisoned, alongside the added bonus that you can deal extra damage while you're attempting to get the paralyzation effect as well. So even if they succeed against the paralyzation effect, you don't necessarily feel too bad about it because you have your Ray of Sickness alongside your undead dealing damage over time, whereas Hold Person is kind of just a save or suck spell. And if you wanted to add some extra oomph to this combo, you could throw in extra spells like Silvery Barbs to make that saving throw even more difficult to make. So if you're a fan of the necromancy style of play, be sure to pull out the Putrid Paralyzation for some easy crits. Thanks again Hathis for the combo. I really hope that's how you pronounce your name. Speaking of which, if you want to see more combos like this, make sure to slam that like button down below and subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment letting me know your favorite combos. But now we move on to the third combo for today's list that I call the Slip and Snag, which combines these spells Black Tentacles with Grease. And before you ask, yes, I am incredibly proud of that name. Black Tentacles is a 4th level spell that creates a 20-foot square of angry tentacles that deal damage and turn the area into difficult terrain. Creatures that start their turn within that area must make a dex saving throw or take damage and become restrained by the tentacles. Grease, on the other hand, creates a 10-foot area of grease, and any creature that enters that or starts their turn there must make a dex save or fall prone. Now, at face value, putting these spells together might seem a bit redundant based on their effect, but they function very well together, specifically because of when their effects take hold. Black Tentacles occurs at the start of a creature's turn, and Grease occurs at the end of a creature's turn. Considering that, creatures are going to be stuck in this area for a long time. When these spells are cast, creatures in that area must make immediately 2 Dex saving throws. If they fail either of those saves, they are either restrained, meaning that they have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws, or they are knocked prone, and they're in difficult terrain, meaning that their movement speed is halved. This makes it so the creature can literally not leave this area if they fail a single dex save in the initial round of casting those spells, unless they have a teleport ability or flight. This means that they're going to spend longer in that area, meaning that they're going to be subjected to more and more dexterity saving throws the longer they're within it. And if they're restrained, then they're going to have disadvantage on any additional dexterity saving throw, meaning that realistically they're not getting out of that area anytime soon. So if you want an amazing battlefield control lockdown combo, the Slip and Snag is the combo for you. Next up for today, we have a really unique spell combo called the Shroud of Slicing, which combines 2 fan favorite spells, Darkness and Animate Objects. Before anything, this combo does require 2 casters to function because of concentration purposes, but if you can pull this off, it is 100% the strongest combo in today's video. Animate Objects animates up to 10 objects which you can control as a bonus action. These objects do as you command, can move anywhere within 30 feet, and all individually deal 1d8 plus 2 damage on a hit. Darkness, however, creates a magical darkness within 15 feet of an area, or, and here's the kicker, of an object. So you can cast darkness on one of these animated objects and then have a mobile 15-foot radius of magical darkness that you can move as a bonus action up to 30 feet, given that any animated object has 30 feet of movement. Darkness, for those of you unaware, heavily obscures an area, which effectively means that any attack against a creature within that area has advantage and any attack they make has disadvantage. Generally, however, it can be difficult to utilize because the darkness can also heavily obscure your party's vision, making it kind of negligible. But you do have the ability to move it with this combo. However, that is only one awesome part of this combination, because these animated objects that we mentioned earlier for the other part of the spell also happen to have a little feature called Blind Sight. This means that the animated objects don't need to see a creature in order to attack it, meaning that their attacks don't have disadvantage. In fact, their attacks would actually have advantage since the creature inside would technically be blinded. That's 10 attacks, all made with advantage, dealing about 7 damage on average per hit, meaning it can deal up to a total of about 70 damage, all for the low price of a single bonus action. And I don't know about you, but that seems pretty efficient if you ask me. Yes, this combo does require 2 casters' concentration, but you gotta consider that this combo isn't a one and done combo. You can do it on every turn thereafter as long as you concentrate on it, meaning this spell can easily deal upwards of 100 damage in simply 2 rounds. And that is super efficient for any level of play. So if you ever wanted to make your DM pull their hair out, then consider the Shroud of Slicing, as it will make quick work of not only your enemies, but also your DM's receding hairline. But finally, we're rounding out today's list with the combo that I call the Prick and Push, which combines these spells Wall of Thorns and Thunderwave. Wall of Thorn creates, who would have guessed, a Wall of Thorns, which deals damage to creatures that enter it. This damage occurs when the spell appears and when a creature moves through the area, meaning that it can double dip on the damage. Thunderwave, on the other hand, is a knockback spell that pushes creatures 10 feet back on a failed Constitution saving throw. And with that, you can probably see where this combo is going. Create a Wall of Thorns between you and your enemies, dealing damage. The enemies then move through the wall, dealing damage to get to you, and then you Thunderwave them back through the wall, dealing damage again from not only the Thunderwave, but also the Wall of Thorns. And this combo isn't just restricted to Thunderwave, it's just the spell I chose for the combo. You can do this with any spell or ability that forces creatures to move. Even something as simple as an Eldritch Blast can have a similar effect. The damage is restricted to once per turn, meaning that you can't just telekinesis move them back and forth through the Wall of Thorns, but your other party members can also do something similar to knock them through it again, also dealing additional damage. Depending upon how many movement abilities your party has, this can very quickly add up for some insane damage. So if you are a party that is heavy in the combat control style of play, then be sure to take a look at the Prick and Push, because I guarantee you it can deal some insane damage. If you want to see more combos like this, I listed a playlist in the corners and in the description below for you to check out. Also, if you have any really cool combos, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear them. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. As always, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on Friday.